Welcome to SVGTV's news for Thursday, May 26, 2016. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. The opposition New Democratic Party is showing that it is resolute in its fight for the hearing of election petitions in the High Court of Justice here through a series of action. The latest being a candlelight march and rally held last evening. As we hear in this report from Sharon Garway, the event was also in support of its leader, Arnim Eustace, who pledged that he will be unwavering in his efforts to fight corruption in the country.
Lit candles and bright yellow T-shirts illuminated the road from Murray's Village to Sign Hill as supporters of the opposition New Democratic Party NDP came out in their numbers in solidarity of democracy and their legal case of the election petitions to be heard this Friday in the High Court. Several of NDP's executive members and candidates had high praises for the leadership skills of their president, Arnim Eustace, and chastised the ruling Unity Labour Party for what they termed as being negligent to the needs of Vincentians.
Your candles tonight represent hope for a better tomorrow and a change in a positive direction for our country.
Theft, wrapped up in that package. Exploitation, greed, wrapped up in that package. Exclusion, wrapped up in that package. Mismanagement of our economy, wrapped up in that red package.
Get rid of my leader. Is it my leader's fault that there's high crimes in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? Is my leader's fault that unemployment is so high? Is it my leader's fault that we cannot send our children to school? Is it my leader's fault that we cannot buy groceries?
The people whom the government invited here to monitor our elections, they came out and said the government people lying because they were there when we objected. They were there and saw the wrong ballots being counted. They were there and saw the bias of the supervisor of the election staff.
If we don't have confidence in the process, we can never accept the government.
Member of Parliament and Vice President of the NDP, Sinclair Leacock, expressed his concern over the electoral process and the crime situation in the country. He pledged his continued support to the leader of the party.
That elections under the current regime and certainly under the existing supervisor of election and her staff will never, ever be free and fair. And we cannot allow that to happen for the democracy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Opposition leader and NDP President Arnim Eustace expressed concern over the government's ability to pay civil servants and questioned whether the attempts will be made to use funds from the National Insurance Services NIS. Eustace also inquired if some 300 Cuban workers have Vincentian citizenship and voted in the 2015 general elections. The NDP president sounded a warning to those engaged in unscrupulous activities and informed them that they will face criminal charges if they don't clean up their acts.
When it comes to that, when it comes to that, I ain't had no friend, People say, oh, Eustace soft, Eustace weak. But let me catch you when we get in government, who weak. Anybody who interferes with the funds of the people of this country will pay the price. Anybody. I want that clearly understood,
The NDP will host a second candlelight vigil tonight as they continue their strategic activities in their claim for free and fair elections. Sharon Garway, SVG Television News.
And Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves believes that the utterances made by radio talk show host Dwight Bing Joseph does not warrant him being dishonest and dishonorable or being sued by opposition leader Arnim Eustace. Dr. Gonsalves was speaking with Joseph on his radio program earlier this week following an announcement made by Eustace that he will be taking legal action against Joseph for alleging that he sold the senatorship position to the NDP's East St. George candidate, Dr. Linton Lewis.
When you have defamation by the spoken word, even by the written word, the question is this: whether in its plain and ordinary meaning there's defamation, or is what is understood to have been meant in all the circumstances. And clearly, what is you? I don't think that anybody could reasonably say that you intended to impute that somebody had done something which was very dishonorable, or indeed dishonest.
Dr. Gonsalves described the matter as trivial and says that there are other issues more important in the country.
If you're part of a whole and it is felt that there are one or two persons inside of the outfit who are more disadvantaged by reason of the fact that they got into politics and they don't have a job or what the case might be, and somebody has an independent profession, and they don't really need this money, and if it can go to the party for whatever purpose the party agreed for it to go towards. I mean, so much is made of this. I mean, we have so many other things to talk about of great importance. I didn't take it that you were defaming my friend Anim. I just say how I understood it. It may well be that my understanding is wrong, but I'm not trying to get you off the hook. As I said, I don't want your triangle to become a quadrangle.
At Sand Hill last night, Eustace told the gathering that he will pursue with his legal action against the radio talk show host Dwight Bing Joseph. The NDP leader noted that he has continually been met with a barrage of criticism and that Joseph will face the consequences for his statement.
I'll be taking legal action against a certain individual. And today I was besieged by many questions on this matter. And I say to you tonight that during next week, my lawyer will do his work. People sending you all kind of threats and making all kind of statements to you, making statements about your family and your friends in the most derogatory manner. Most derogatory. Bing called me a nasty man. A nasty man. And he take back everything good he ever said about me. Bing, you can pay. We have to have some respect for this population.
In other news, the St. Vincent Teachers Union consultants have declared the Canouan Government School structurally unsafe. This was announced by the Teachers Union in a news release issued last evening following a consultation involving members of the union, an engineer, a contractor, along with teachers of the school. The statement advised teachers of the Canouan Government School to report for duty but to keep away from the building because it has been declared structurally unsafe. It further went on to state that as a consequence, the building jeopardizes the safety of the occupants. The Teachers Union says that members of staff are very uncomfortable and the structural damage is having a psychological impact on them. The media statement concluded that the Teachers Union takes its responsibility seriously and will not sacrifice the safety of students, parents, its members or any other occupants of that building. Last week, the Ministry of Education issued a release on the situation at the school, pointing out that a structural assessment report indicates that there are no major signs of failure, which suggests that the school is in immediate threat of collapse and poses no major risk to the students or teachers, particularly in the grade 5 or grade 6 areas. The ministry, however, pointed out that the report stated that the computer room has some structural and other cracks and advises that this room not be utilized until further notice and that routine checks and further investigations will be made by Braxa to ensure no further developments and repairs are expected to be carried out after school closes for the summer break. Meanwhile, Minister of Education Sinclair Jimmy Prince maintains that the Canouan Government School at the moment shows no threat of collapsing. In responding to the move made by the Teachers Union for educators and students to stay away from the building as they deem it structurally unsafe, the Education Minister, in a telephone interview with SVG-TV News earlier today, says that the engineers from the Bridges, Roads and General Services Authority, BRAXA, as well as the Ministry of Transport and Works, have inspected the school and reported that the institution is structurally safe. Prince says that the damage is as a result of the materials used, which have created some shrinkage and cracks in certain places on the floor and have extended to the walls. The Education Minister says despite what the Teachers Union engineers have said, his engineer team will continue to monitor the building, but there is no imminent sign of collapsing. Prince says repair work will be carried out when school is on vacation leave this summer. In response to reports that classes are being held outside the building, Prince says it was only the grade 6 students who had classes outside and that they have gone home since doing their CPA exams. He further outlined that 2 churches were reserved in the event that students and teachers needed to be evacuated. The Education Minister stated that he was yet to receive communication from the Teachers Union about instructing teachers not to enter the building. He concluded that the Ministry of Education had not abandoned teachers and that they will continue to seek expert advice on the matter. And still in Canada, an employee of Glasgow Construction, a Picton pair, who was injured last Saturday when a steel reinforcing cage he was working on collapsed on him, has succumbed to his injuries at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, where he was in a comatose state for at least a week. A media statement from Glossy Bay Marina, where pair was working on the steel cage at the construction site in Canada, expressed regret at his passing yesterday. The company's statement points out that although pair was wearing a safety helmet at the time, the steel cage caused a serious head injury. Following an incident on Friday, May 20th, 2016, where Vincentian students studying tourism in the area of Falcon State of the University Institute of Technology of Puerto Cabello in Venezuela were victims of a burglary at their residence. Information from the Venezuela embassy here says the students are being attended to by authorities in the Spanish-speaking country. The embassy outlined in a media release that the students lost items such as laptops, passports, cards, monies, and other personal belongings, and that a complaint to the relevant law enforcement authorities has been made, with the students already transferred from the residence where the theft was committed to the home of a teacher, and that they are seeking new locations so the students can be moved to a safe place. The embassy says they have been informed that the students have at their disposal dining room services, transportation, residence scholarship, recreation studies, and other activities related to the education system, and gave the assurance that the Venezuelan authorities will do everything that is possible so that similar situations are not repeated in the future. There are currently 28 Vincentian students studying in Venezuela under the further show scholarships in subjects areas such as administration and international trade, maritime engineering, emergency management and action against disasters, comprehensive community medicine, agri-food, informatics and tourism. In other news, a team of doctors and nurses from the Shangwad Christian Hospital from the Republic of China on Taiwan have pledged their commitment to help patients and medical practitioners in this country. The team, which is led by Dr. Shu Tong Sheng, Taiwan's leading physicians on breast cancer and chief executive officer of the Changshu Christian Hospital, Dr. Nancy Kwao, expressed their dedication to ensure that over the next 3 weeks they gave the necessary support to the nation.
Time we have 6 medical personnel, including doctors and nurses. So this time we have Dr. Chen, and he is the breast cancer specialist. And we have dentist. We also had emergency doctor and Chinese medical doctor, and we had 2 nurses as well. I think all of us we will enjoy life in St. Vincent, and we will stay here for 3 weeks. Then we trust that all of our team will try our best to do our as we can to service the patient or service the people in St. Vincent.
I hope I can help to promote the relationship of the both country, and I hope I can help the kindly and friendly people here, and I learned something here. Thank you.
Ambassador of the Republic of China on Taiwan to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Bo Shang-Zhe, says he is pleased that his country can assist St. Vincent and the Grenadines health sector while continuing to deepen relations.
It's a great pleasure for the embassy to welcome the 9th visit of the medical team from Changhua Christian Hospital, and this is the first team for the year. And we're going to expect another team later this year in November. And every year we send invite other medical staff or specialists from this country to Taiwan to join different kinds of programs. This year we're going to invite 7 of them to go. So you can see that the medical and the health cooperation between our 2 countries are very, very active, and we are very pleased for that development, and we do hope that in the years ahead we can have deepened that kind of cooperation between our 2 countries.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health and the Environment, Louis Deschamps, welcomed the delegation and thanked Taiwan for their continued support.
We have established a solid relationship to date, and you continue to come to lend an enormous amount of support to the nationals of this country, to the whole of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we are truly delighted. We have been benefiting, and we are indeed happy that this strong relationship is continuing, and we look forward to welcoming the next team in a few months and in the years ahead. Please enjoy your stay here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we look forward to working along with you to lend you the support that you require to make your stay, a fruitful one.
The National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, will tomorrow convene a meeting of NEMO subcommittees prior to the June 1st start of the 2016 Tropical Atlantic Hurricane season. The meeting will be chaired by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, chairman of NEMO. Dr. Gonsalves will address the participants and conduct an audit of the readiness of the various subcommittees in the event that the country is impacted by hazards such as tropical storms, hurricanes and floods. The new standard operation procedures, the SOPs, for the National Emergency Operations Center will also be presented at the meeting. NEMO's subcommittee are comprised of the Public Information and Education Damage and Needs Assessment, Transport and Road Clearance, Emergency Supplies, Shelter and Shelter Management, Health Services, Emergency Telecommunications, Search and Rescue, Land and Sea, Voluntary Services and Rehabilitation and Reconstruction. Friday's meeting will be attended by chairpersons and deputy chairpersons of NEMO subcommittees and will commence at 9 a.m. at NEMO's conference room. The production and energy at the Blundybird and Friends mass stand is high as we prepared for the 2016 Carnival season, particularly the well-anticipated Winston Samuel Band of the Year competition. SVGTV's Bavin Oliver visited the mass tent yesterday and tells us more on what Blondie Bird and Friends has in store for Vinci Mass 2016.
The 2014 winner of the coveted Winston Samuel Band of the Year title, Blondie Bird and Friends Mass Tent, is aiming at recapturing the title with this year's presentation, Sweet Temptation. Speaking with SVG Television, band leader Elroy Boyd, affectionately known as Blondie Bird, says this year's presentation would be like no other. Boyd added that his band will make presentations in Kaliakwa over the weekend and thanked his sponsors, particularly a former sponsor, Wide Lima, for their years of support.
I think the team going go, the work going go, the sponsor people appreciate the band. Thanks to the sponsors and them left, although I still have to talk about this because something we lose a sponsor this year. I have to thank them right now, YD Lima. They served me for the last 15 years. Now because they're in there wrong this time, so I still have to give them a shout because they've been around all the time, you know. But we still going good in a form, you know, the band just a countdown.
Boyd says there's a sense of excitement from the public this year, with several sections of his band already sold out.
We have people explode and tell the truth, our people ain't actually come in the band yet. Our people actually explode ain't really start to register in the band yet. I never had a mass sold out over 3 weeks yet at this time. Right? And look, people fighting together in the same mass. And because we ain't doing no more, 6 girls come and sit up the front line in the same mass. And I tell them, nah, we don't build, we ain't building over girl, we only crush. Okay? We want to make sure when we let go product and back street, we look like we'll be the last people left to keep up St. Vincent Carnival.
While he's excited about their production this year, Blondie lamented about the fact that many of the mass bands here continue to ignore the cultural aspects of mass, which is an area he and a few others fight to preserve.
Just the fed and the bathroom, the culture, what the culture part of the thing now. Carnival is telling a story, see, we bring temptation. We're showing you how the world coming now. The world, the internet and them kind of thing, the money problem and them kind of thing. So your story, the art is a story you have to tell. But nobody ain't telling a story, everybody just jamming away now. And people, they realize tourists stop come by we. We are less party than St. Lucia and Barbados, you know. So if the tourists coming now, they ain't have to come by we again. They got Barbados because they used to come long time because they feel we had mass.
For SVG Television Evening News, I am Bavin Oliver.
Months of hectic training and gruesome exercise routines have helped to mold Shanika Alexander and Anya Frederick to be poised and elegant contestants in the Miss SVG pageant 2016. Late Wednesday afternoon, SVG-TV News team caught up with the two contestants in a practice session for the interview segment of the upcoming competition. Nalisha Miller tells us more about the two contestants in this report.
While the university scholarship is an obvious incentive for Shanika Alexander to be a part of this year's pageant, she admitted that she got that extra push from her peers. Alexander said she was fortunate to be given a month's leave from her work at the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to execute her pageantry duties, but initially it proved to be a difficult task to juggle both work and practice sessions. After a hard day's work preparing for the big event, Alexander says she often just wants to relax, noting she is simply a humble person who has big dreams for her future. Alexander says her mother is her biggest supporter and also her biggest critic.
She got really upset at me for something, and she said, you have to work hard to become Miss SVG if you want it. And she said, I know you wouldn't be able to handle not winning, so try to get past your frustration. And I know for sure on the night, if I am not crowned Miss SVG, I would cry. I would break down because I know I would have made sacrifices and worked extremely hard to become Miss SVG, and to not win, it would be very disappointing.
We also caught up with a very giddy and humorous Anya Frederick, who told us that she was initially disappointed to have gotten a late start in the competition.
I was about December, January, about 2 months behind. So when I came in and I'm trying to get persons to help me and do different things, oh, I'm busy with another girl, I'm sorry. So I came in feeling like, oh boy, I'm so far behind, you know, and I had to pick myself up. But I think I've had a good handle on it thus far, and I hope that, you know, all struggles are for a reason and that I do it.
Frederick says the months of training has been difficult as she has an issue with her knee. She explained that has affected her in recent weeks where she was unable to walk or wear heels, and that has interrupted her practice sessions. Anya, who lovingly describes herself as a complete idiot, says she holds her pageant counterpart dear to her heart. The former Girls High School student says she believes CDC's Beauty Shows Committee should implement a project for the contestants to engage in after the show.
I think that we could really learn from giving back to other people, and for the most part we are selfish, and that's one thing I would really like to see change. That is one cause. That, and I think HIV awareness. I have done work with it, and I don't think it's as prominent as it should be.
The much anticipated Miss SVG pageant 2016 will take place on June 4th at the Victoria Park. Alicia Miller, The Evening News.